Last year, businesses across the globe lost literally billions of dollars to corporate fraud. And the wild thing is, the vast majority of those losses weren't stopped by some high-tech cybersecurity firm dropping it from a helicopter.
Right, yeah, not at all.
They weren't stopped by a dramatic FBI raid or, a whistleblower holding a secret meeting in a dark parking garage. The bleeding was actually stopped by mundane, boring, everyday internal controls.
Which honestly completely shatters that Hollywood myth of how corporate defense actually works.
Yeah.
We are so conditioned to think that protecting an organization requires this massive, impenetrable fortress managed by like a secret society of forensic accountants.
Right, guys in hoodies hacking into mainframes.
Exactly. But the reality is far more systemic. I mean, the most effective defense mechanisms are just the everyday operational routines running quietly in the background of a company.
And that brings us to our mission for today. So welcome to the Deep Dive. You and I are analyzing a very specific blueprint for this kind of professional defense today. We're looking at the official product details and the curriculum structure for the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, or the ACFE, their Anti-Fraud Control Certificate Program.
It's a really fascinating program.
It is. And the goal today is to decode what this program actually offers, who it's truly meant for, and what its structure reveals about the mechanics of modern corporate fraud prevention.
Because knowing how to spot and stop fraud, well, it isn't just a job for the auditors down the hall anymore.
No, definitely not. It's a critical survival skill for anyone navigating a modern career. Okay, let's unpack this.
So to really understand how this blueprint works, you have to look at the 3 mandatory courses required to earn the certificate.
Right.
The ACFE, they don't give you a scattered menu of electives to choose from. They dictate a very specific architectural foundation.
Like a strict curriculum.
Exactly. The first course is internal controls for data security.
Yep.
The second is internal controls for fraud prevention. And then the third is evaluating and testing anti-fraud controls.
Let's break those down mechanically, starting with that first one, data security. Because when people hear data security, I think the immediate assumption is that this is purely an IT problem.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's about buying better firewalls or setting up multi-factor authentication. So why is this the first mandatory pillar for a broad anti-fraud certificate?
Well, because data governance is basically the bedrock of all modern fraud. If you don't control who has access to the information, you simply cannot control the money or the assets.
That makes sense.
Mechanically, this course isn't teaching you how to, code a firewall. It's teaching you the behavioral and systemic controls around the data.
Okay, so what?
Like the principle of least privilege, for example. Ask yourself, does a junior marketing manager actually need access to the raw customer payment database to do their job?
Probably not.
Right, no.
Oh.
So by systematically restricting access to only what is strictly necessary for a given role, you eliminate the actual opportunity for someone to quietly export that data and sell it, or alter it to cover up a theft.
Got it. So it's about controlling the human behavior around the technology, rather than just the technology itself.
Yes, exactly.
That leads right into the second course, which is internal controls for fraud prevention. How does that differ from just, locking down the data?
Prevention is really about designing the operational workflow so that no single individual has enough unchecked power to commit and conceal a fraud. Think of it like running a commercial restaurant kitchen. Data security is putting a heavy padlock on the door to the premium ingredient pantry.
Right.
Preventative controls are the operational rules. You make sure the person cooking the food is never the exact same person running the cash register.
Oh, because if the chef is also ringing up the customers, they could just easily pocket the cash and not record the steak they cooked.
Precisely. In accounting, we call that segregation of duties. You basically split the responsibility for a transaction.
So 2 people have to be involved.
Yeah, the person who approves an invoice should never be the same person who signs the check to pay it.
Because if they are,
If one person can do both, they can invent a fake vendor, approve a fake invoice, and just write themselves a check.
wow. Yeah, that happens a lot, doesn't it?
It really does. So preventative controls are deliberate structural roadblocks placed inside everyday business processes to ensure multiple pairs of eyes are required to complete a high-risk task.
That makes the third course, evaluating and testing anti-fraud controls, incredibly important then. Because it's one thing to write a policy that says the chef can't run the register or invoices need 2 signatures.
Right?
It's another thing entirely to know if people are actually following the rule in real life.
Exactly. A control that exists only on paper is honestly worse than no control at all.
Really?
Worse.
Yeah, because it gives leadership a false sense of security. They think they're safe, but they aren't. Testing is the mechanical process of proving the system works under actual pressure.
So what does that testing look like in practice? Are we talking about like sending out those fake phishing emails to see which employees click on the malicious link? That is a classic example of testing a data security control, yes. You run a simulation to see if the human firewall holds up.
Right.
But testing goes much deeper into the operational side, too. Like, a manager might intentionally submit a duplicate invoice for a minor expense.
Just to see what happens.
Yeah, just to see if the accounts payable software automatically flags it, or if the secondary approver catches it before the payment actually goes out. You audit the access logs, you look at the timestamps.
You're hunting for weak spots.
Exactly. You are actively searching for the gaps in the fence before someone else exploits them.
Okay, hold on, though. Looking at the prerequisites for jumping into this program, I'm seeing a potential roadblock here.
Uh-oh, what's that?
The source explicitly states that to take this certificate program, you need a, quote, fundamental knowledge of audit procedures.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm an IT director or, say, a newly promoted regional sales manager looking at this to protect my department, I'm immediately backing away.
Right, sounds intimidating.
Yeah, I don't know the first thing about formal auditing. Are they boxing out the exact general managers who need this foundational knowledge the most?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the ACFE is highly strategic about who this is for, and they actually address that tension directly.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. They explicitly state the program targets professionals working in departments with a high risk of fraud or those who have significant responsibilities related to anti-fraud controls. It's meant to bridge a very specific gap in the market.
What gap is that exactly?
The space between passive corporate awareness and specialized career-level auditing.
Okay.
You have plenty of, like, one-hour seminars on what is fraud, and then on the other extreme, you have multi-year accounting degrees.
Yep.
This program sits right in the middle.
I see.
The requirement for fundamental audit knowledge isn't about knowing how to conduct a massive, independent financial audit for a Fortune 500 company. It's really about understanding the basic mechanism of verification. You need to understand the concept of looking for evidence to support a claim.
So, using our restaurant analogy from earlier, you don't need to be the state health inspector.
Right.
But you do need to know how to walk into your own kitchen with a clipboard, check the temperature of the fridge, and verify that the daily cleaning log was actually signed by the staff rather than just assuming it was done.
That is the exact mechanism. You are managing the environment. By requiring a baseline understanding of verification, the course can skip the rudimentary definitions and just dive straight into the mechanics of building and testing those specific controls.
Which brings up a really fascinating dynamic about where this specific credential fits into the broader professional ecosystem. The ACFE is world-renowned for their flagship credential, the CFE, the Certified Fraud Examiner.
Right. It's a huge deal.
It is the gold standard.
Yeah.
And yet, the source material goes out of its way, almost like a legal disclaimer, to draw a very thick, very clear line between this certificate and the full CFE credential.
The framing is highly deliberate there. Earning the CFE is described in the source as a significant undertaking.
That's not easy.
Not at all. It requires passing a grueling multi-part exam. It requires meeting strict eligibility requirements based on this complex qualifying point system that factors in your education and your years of professional experience.
And the kicker is that completing this anti-fraud control certificate program does not count toward meeting those eligibility requirements for the CFE.
0 points.
Yeah, you can't use this as a shortcut or a stepping stone to qualify for the big exam.
That is a hard boundary they have set. However, there is a massive operational trade-off.
What is the trade-off?
Well, the full CFE license requires ongoing maintenance. You have to pay annual dues. You have to complete dozens of hours of continuing professional education every single year just to keep the letters after your name active.
Wow, that's a lot of upkeep.
It is. But this anti-fraud control certificate requires absolutely 0 maintenance. The source guarantees that once you pass the exams and earn the badge, it never expires. You hold it for life.
So what does this all mean? I mean, if you are a professional looking at your career trajectory and you see a program that doesn't count toward the flagship professional license, why invest the time and money to take it?
Right. Why bother?
It really comes down to the psychology of credentialing and the need for immediate, targeted marketability.
Break down that psychology. Why choose the certificate over the full license?
Well, because getting an ACFE certificate proves a specific, targeted skill set to an employer or a client right now.
Without the wait.
Exactly, without the heavy, lifelong maintenance tax of a full professional license. Think about the medical field. There is a massive difference between going to medical school for 8 years to become a specialized surgeon versus going through an intensive multi-week program to become a certified first responder.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Right, both of those roles save lives. Both are absolutely critical to the healthcare ecosystem. But the time horizon, the financial commitment, and the ongoing maintenance differ wildly. Not everyone needs to be the surgeon. Sometimes an organization just needs someone who knows how to apply a tourniquet and stop the bleeding in their specific department.
What's fascinating here is how strategically the ACFE uses this product to capture completely different personas in the market.
How so?
Look at the career journey section of their materials. They have dedicated pathways for people making a career change and those who are newly self-employed.
Okay.
Let's say you just left a corporate job to start your own risk management consulting firm. You need immediate, visible credibility to win clients.
And you definitely can't wait 2 years to accumulate the points for a CFE.
Exactly. This certificate gives that consultant a permanent, brand-backed badge of authority from the largest anti-fraud organization in the world.
Instantly.
Yes. They can put it on their website and their proposals immediately without chaining their new business to an annual maintenance requirement.
That makes a lot of sense.
They also target professionals who are already CFEs, but who want to signal hyper-specialization in the specific niche of internal controls. So it serves multiple distinct audiences.
But wait. If this badge doesn't expire, and it requires 0 continuing education to maintain, the ACFE faces a huge institutional risk, don't they?
What do you mean?
Well, human nature being what it is, people could take the test once, barely scrape by, and then parade around as lifelong experts. That would degrade the value of the credential for everyone else. How do they protect the integrity of the badge up front?
By making the initial gateway incredibly rigid, the mechanics of accountability within this program are strictly defined.
Okay, so it's not a walk in the park.
Oh, no. You don't just watch a few videos and print a certificate. You have to pass an exam for each of the 3 courses, and you must achieve a score of 70% or higher on every single one.
Got it.
Plus, you don't get unlimited tries. You are capped at exactly 3 attempts per exam.
And you're playing against a ticking clock, right? You have exactly 1 year from the date of purchase to finish the entire program.
Yeah. If you fail to hit that 70% benchmark within your 3 attempts, or if you let that 1-year deadline slip by, you face a hard consequence. You lose access to the courses entirely.
Wow, just locked out.
Exactly. To get back in, you have to contact ACFE member services directly and pay a $125 certificate program re-enrollment fee.
Ouch.
Yeah, paying that fee resets any exam you haven't passed, giving you 3 fresh attempts, and buys you 1 additional year of access.
Here's where it gets really interesting. That $125 fee is not just a random administrative processing cost.
No, not at all.
It is an accountability tax.
Yeah.
It is applied behavioral economics. We all know the phenomenon of buying an online self-study course that has lifetime access.
Oh, yeah.
It ends up sitting in a digital folder, gathering digital dust for 3 years because there is no urgency to complete it.
Right, the lack of friction just creates apathy.
Exactly. But if you know you have a hard 365-day deadline and failing to meet it costs you an extra $125, plus the sheer professional humiliation of having to actually call a member services representative to admit you didn't finish and need a reset, you are going to take that deadline seriously.
For sure.
The financial penalty forces the student to engage with the material.
It creates a tangible stake in the outcome. And the upfront economics of getting into the program also reinforce that this is a serious professional investment.
Right. What are the costs there?
The pricing structure is tiered, so it's $417 for non-members, but it drops to $333.60 for ACFE members.
Okay, so that's a savings of what, about 80 bucks?
$83.40 to be exact. It's a classic association model, using heavy product discounts to incentivize ongoing membership. But we really need to look at the actual return on investment for the learner.
Okay.
Beyond the raw knowledge of how to segregate duties or run a mock phishing test, what are the tangible professional deliverables?
Well, the first major deliverable is the continuing education credits. By successfully completing all 3 online self-study courses, you are awarded 9 NASBA-approved continuing professional education, or CPE, credits.
And we should clarify why that specific acronym NASBA carries so much weight.
Please do.
NASBA stands for the National Association of State Boards of Accountancy. They are essentially the gold standard clearinghouse for accounting education in the United States.
So if you are a certified public accountant, a CPA, your state board requires you to earn a certain number of CPE credits every year just to keep your license active.
Yes, and it is a constant scramble for professionals to find high-quality approved credits.
Which makes this a highly efficient two birds, one stone scenario.
Exactly.
Even though the anti-fraud control certificate itself doesn't require maintenance, completing it yields 9 highly coveted NASBA credits that you can apply toward maintaining your other professional licenses. It feeds the broader credentialing ecosystem.
That is a massive secondary benefit, and the second deliverable is the visual proof.
Ah, the badge.
Yes. Upon completion, you receive a downloadable certificate, and then within 5 to 7 business days, you are issued a secure digital badge. This is specifically designed to be integrated directly into your LinkedIn profile or digital resume.
So it's highly visible.
It's all about visible, verified credibility. When your professional network looks at your profile, they immediately see that you have been vetted by the leading authority in fraud prevention.
Consider the meta layer of what we've just discussed here. The ACFE is teaching a program about how to design strict internal controls, setting rigid boundaries, verifying outcomes, enforcing consequences for failure, and the educational structure of the program itself. The 70% threshold, the 3-attempt limit, the hard 1-year deadline, the financial penalty for a reset. That is acting as an internal control for the credential.
That is such a great point. They are mirroring the exact behavior they are teaching. The system that teaches internal controls is basically governed by internal controls.
It's brilliant.
It proves the methodology works. When an employer or a prospective client sees that digital badge, they know you didn't just passively listen to a video while walking the dog.
Right.
They know you were forced to demonstrate actual competency under strict verified conditions. The friction of earning it is precisely what gives the badge its market value.
Well, let's pull all of this together and look at the blueprint we've decoded today. We started by exploring the actual mechanics of corporate defense through those 3 mandatory courses.
Yeah.
We established that true security isn't about just buying software. It's about mastering data governance, enforcing the segregation of duties, and ruthlessly testing those systems in the real world to find the vulnerabilities before the fraudsters do.
And then we examine the strategic career positioning of the certificate. It offers a permanent, non-expiring marker of expertise that serves a distinct purpose in the market.
Providing immediate credibility.
Yes, for consultants and managers without the lifelong maintenance burden of the full CFE license.
And finally, we broke down the rigorous, gamified mechanics of the program itself. The $125 accountability tax, the 1-year deadline, and the pursuit of those 9 NASBA-approved credits. It is a comprehensive system designed to force engagement and guarantee a baseline of true competency.
This raises an important question, though.
What's that?
The source material makes a very compelling promise. Once you navigate the exams and earn this anti-fraud control certificate, it never expires. You hold it for life with 0 required maintenance.
Right.
But we operate in a reality where data security vulnerabilities, artificial intelligence exploits, and financial fraud tactics evolve on a daily, almost hourly basis. The control that works today might be completely obsolete in 18 months.
Oh, easily.
So how do you, as a dedicated professional, ensure that a lifelong credential doesn't lull you, or the organization relying on you, into a false sense of permanent security? How do you force yourself to maintain and update the actual knowledge, even when the credential itself doesn't legally require you to?
That is the ultimate paradox of holding a lifetime badge in a fiercely fast-moving world. The digital certificate on your profile might not expire, but the relevance of your knowledge absolutely will if you aren't careful.
Absolutely.
You have to treat this program as the foundation, not the finish line. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. As you head back out into your own organizations and departments, keep questioning the systems running in the background. Look for the unchecked power, test the boundaries, and remember, true corporate defense isn't a wall built by someone else. It's the daily, systemic controls managed by you on the inside. Keep diving deep, and we'll catch you next time.